Three stories about technology we installed to protect ourselves, and then it turns against us. Two actually happened, and one is completely made up. The catch? They're all written the same way, so you can't just go by how it sounds. You have to go by how it feels. Let's go.
Welcome back to Two Real, Two Truths, and One Lie. Three stories. Two actually happened, one is completely made up. Your job is to figure out which one.
This week, every story is about the same thing technology that's supposed to protect you or help you, and instead it makes decisions about you without your permission, without your knowledge, and you don't find out until something goes wrong.
And in every case, the question isn't just real or fake. The question is when your own technology spies on you and reports you without your consent, who's actually guilty?
So, as we go through, there's no right answers, just gut reactions. Let's get into it. And if you're new, as always, make sure you do subscribe. We do this every Monday, Two Real, Two Truths, and a Lie. Okay, story number one. Am I the asshole for being falsely accused of package theft based on a license plate reader camera I never knew was filming me? I got a summons for stealing a package. The evidence? A license plate reader camera caught my truck in a town where the theft happened. The problem? I wasn't actually there. I live in Denver. I drive a forest green Rivian. Is that how you say that?
Yes, electric.
Okay. I've never. This person drives a forest green Rivian. On September 22nd, I drove through a tiny neighboring town with less than 900 people. I didn't stop. I didn't get out. I just drove through on my way to somewhere else. That day, someone stole a package from a porch in that small community. A small theft, maybe $25 worth of stuff. But Flock, a surveillance camera company, had installed license plate readers and cameras throughout the town. The cameras captured every vehicle that entered and left, including mine. On September 27th, a police sergeant showed up at my front door. He had a summons in his hand and an absolute certainty in his voice. He said, "I'm here about a package theft. Your truck was seen entering the town at 11:52 a.m. and leaving at 12:09 p.m. on September 22nd. And we have you on camera committing a theft." I was shocked. I said, "I didn't steal anything. I just drove through that town." He said, "I have video proof. I have flock cameras. I know you did it. I have no doubt." He told me he even had videos from the victim's doorbell camera showing the theft. Then he said something that chilled me. "You know, we have cameras in town. You can't get a breath of fresh air in and out of that place without us knowing." I asked to see the evidence. He refused. He said, "If you're going to deny it, I'm going to extend you I'm not going to extend you any courtesy. If you're going to lie to me, I'm not going to give you any courtesy." He handed me the summons and left. December court date, petty theft charge. I was terrified. I'm a financial advisor. I work with clients who trust me. A theft charge, even a false one, could destroy my career. So I started gathering evidence. I pulled my own truck's dash cam footage. I checked my Google location time. I found doorbell camera footage from a neighbor near the crime scene. All of it showed I was not at that location where the theft happened. I never stopped. I never got out of my truck. My truck was driving straight through town, not stopping anywhere near the stolen package. I submitted all this evidence to the police department. 2 weeks later, the chief of police called and said they were dropping the charges. The sergeant's proof was wrong. The flock cameras showed my truck in town, but it doesn't mean I committed theft. My own dash cam proved I never stopped. But here's what kills me. I had spent weeks gathering my own evidence to prove I didn't do something. I had to fight a police sergeant who was certain of my guilt based on a camera that only showed my license plate. The flock system didn't prove I stole anything. It just proved I was there. And yet that was enough for a cop to show up at my house with a summons, treating me like a criminal. And the sergeant, He faced unspecified disciplinary action, no apology, no explanation, just disciplinary action. So, am I the asshole for being furious that a surveillance camera system with no actual proof of guilt was enough to get me accused of a crime? For feeling like I'm innocent until proven guilty became guilty until I prove myself innocent.
Welcome to people being lazy using AI. Okay. A license plate reader camera only proves you were somewhere. It doesn't prove you did anything. They had to go, like, you literally have to go and prove yourself innocence.
The we're at a point, like, it's so ridiculous. Like, where's the evidence? There used to, I feel like there used to be a time that you had to actually physically get evidence. So not only yes, you can use the flock surveillance system for safety to give you this information, but you have to do the due diligence and actually prove that there's more than that as evidence. It's like all these stories we talked about with the misidentification of facial ID, or all of these things where the AI is just not able to to 100% be 100% accurate. There needs to be extra due diligence done, right?
I have one situation. It wasn't where I stole anything, but I had to prove my own video footage because of a vehicle incident. And it wasn't an accident. It was not caught on security cameras, but it was in a situation. This is my, like, obviously I went to insurance and I'm like, hey, this massive freaking pothole is the reason my car's busted and is undrivable. And when I opened the case with the insurance company, they're like, well, what proof do you have? And I'm like, well, I went to, this is before iPhone cameras. Like, I went and recorded vehicles busting themselves on this pothole that wasn't even marked by the city. And even at that point, it was like 50%, right? And I was like, I'm still kind of like getting penalized. Well, I don't know if I really got penalized, but I still had to pay the whatever your deductible is if I wanted, because obviously it broke my vehicle. I don't know how expensive that repair, but it like killed my Volkswagen, right?
Okay, sorry. I don't know if you cut out because on my end. So I'll
Okay.
just summarize it up that the best outcome I know you had was that it was 50% guilt, right? Like, they wouldn't take full responsibility, but that was the only way it wasn't full responsibility on your end, right? So absolute BS, but you have to prove yourself, which is, annoying, right? So this is more than annoying that this person had to spend time, effort to prove that they weren't stopping there, that there wasn't actually enough. I'm going to say there just really wasn't enough evidence gathered by the sergeant to put that conclusion. And I feel like he could have also gone to neighbors and got camera footage, because clearly he was lying that he had camera footage from the actual doorstep, right? From the actual, entrance or whatever.
But that comment that they say they have cameras everywhere and they know everything that's going on, I'm like, how many times have they made innocent people guilty and confirmed those charges?
Well, exactly. And with that, once they've done it once, how many times has it actually been wrong? Now it's like really questionable, and they're not doing their due diligence. And I feel like a broken record every week when I at some point talk about the US Make America AI Ready program, and how it teaches you that the information coming from AI still needs to have a human do the due diligence to verify the information is accurate. So yes, they've got information. They know she went through the town. That's not incorrect, but there was a very big, massive leap of incorrectness that this person, I don't know if it was a he or she, I have no idea, but this person stole this package. It's like, it was at this whole thing in this little town that there's a denial that anybody local would have stole it, and this person was the only person going through this small community. Like, I do wonder
Well,
why they thought this
what
person
was that?
was.
Were they targeted because they were a Rivian owner? Was there two Rivian vehicles in that town at the same time, same place, caught on flock cameras? And the only difference would have been confirming the license plates.
I
Like,
don't.
kind of, special story. So this is, I was like,
and just
yeah,
having to defend yourself. And then it's like, you know what? I don't really necessarily want to have all these cameras, but then you really have to have a camera, and you have to record your own driving to prove your own innocence. You have to almost record yourself where you're going and what you're doing, so nothing can be blamed on you. So you're like just your own 24-hour TV show to make sure you can be verified that you didn't commit a crime.
as long as your microphone's not, as long as your microphone's not recorded and uploaded, right? Because
I don't know what you're saying there. I'm gonna no. Okay. So going through it, I'm gonna say that they're definitely not the asshole in this case. What is your verdict?
the sergeant's the asshole in this situation. Come on, but
Well, the verdict, of course, most people, everyone else was not the asshole. You're accused based on a camera system that only proved location, not guilt. You had to gather your own evidence to prove your innocence. That's not justice. That's a system working backwards, and you're rightfully angry, right? Like, it's instead of like you're innocent until proven guilty, which is what we've been told. You're now guilty till you can prove yourself innocent, right? And then there was the comment: the police sergeant abused the authority that the flock camera system gave him, and Flock itself is the problem, selling cities on mass surveillance infrastructure without proper oversight or accountability mechanism or proper training on what to do with the information. Both of that needs to be called out. And another comment is, this is how surveillance states get normalized. One small town, one false accusation, one lucky person who had dash cam footage. But what about everyone else? Like you said, right?
yeah.
So lock it in. Story one, true or false? Keep that in your mind. Let's continue. If you're ready, any other comments on that before we go?
No, let's roll to story number 2.
Let's get into story number 2. Am I the asshole for being angry that my car was secretly tracking my speeding without my knowledge? I found out my car was spying on me when my insurance company called about my rates. I bought a new car in 2024. It's a nice car, modern, connected, has all the features. When I signed the paperwork, I signed a lot of documents. Honestly, I was focused on the price, the monthly payments, the warranty, not the fine print about data collection. Fast forward to 2025. I got a call from my insurance company. They told me my rates were going up. They said, we've been monitoring your vehicle through telemetrics data, and we've detected excessive speeding. You drove 87 miles per hour in a 65 mile per hour zone on March 15th. We're increasing your premium based on this data. I was confused. I said I didn't authorize any monitoring. I didn't opt into any telematics program. They said your vehicle came equipped with the connected system. The data is collected automatically and shared with us as part of your insurance policy. I didn't remember agreeing to that, but apparently it was in the paperwork I signed when I bought the car. The car manufacturer was collecting data. The insurance company was receiving that data, and they were using it to charge me more money. What infuriated me was I didn't know this was happening. For months, my vehicle was reporting my driving habits to my insurance company, and I had no idea. One moment, I'm speeding 22 miles over the limit on a highway where everyone was going fast, and suddenly my rates go up. I read the fine print after the fact. The telemetrics system tracks everything: your speed, when you drive, how hard you brake, phone use while driving. All of this gets sent to your insurance company, and they use it to determine your premium, not just for accidents you cause, for driving habits they don't like. Here's what really got me: the system is opt out, not opt in, meaning it's on by default and you have to go out of your way to turn it off. Most people don't know it's there. Most people are being monitored without their knowledge, and there's no transparency about what happens with that data. My insurance company could sell it. Other companies could access it. I have no control, no way to know what's done with my driving information. Worst part, I can't opt out completely without potentially losing insurance. Insurance companies are betting on the fact that most people won't even know the system exists. So they just keep collecting data, using it to raise rates, and nobody knows why their premiums went up. So am I the asshole for being furious that my own car betrayed me? The technology I own is spying on me and reporting me to my insurance company without my knowledge or consent.
Always gotta read that fine print. There's always a catch, especially with these fancy new vehicles. Ours sends us an email every time it's turned on, and I don't pay for any of that connectivity. So
Clearly, there even when you don't pay for it, because that would be the thing. Okay, if you pay for this, what is it, Star?
well, OnStar, if I
Yes, if
want,
you pay for this stuff, you're expecting that they kind of know where you are, but they still know where we are. We're not even paying for it. Like the reality is, if something happened, they could find us no matter where we're at. And I don't even think we can really turn it off because I believe we've tried, have we not? I feel like we've already had this conversation about
yeah,
that.
the truck would have to be flashed and the exhaust system, like when people anyway.
No, we've
Not
discussed
yet.
it.
Not yet.
Well, you know what? It is like the fact that you have to find a way to opt out and that you have to go into this type of detail to like just now assume that anything that has technology is sending whatever you're using that technology for information back to somebody. Somebody's collecting data on you. That is, I don't know. It's so dystopian.
Yeah, and this is the issue with that fine print because that person was focused on, monthly payment and all the financials, but usually in these situations with other technologies, um, like there's subsidization of the price going on or government subsidies going on or whatever because they have all these electronics built in for the reason of spying. Like isn't it like 2026, 2027, 2030, whatever? There's some point where there's a kill switch built into all vehicles. Like ours doesn't have that kill switch, but like everything going forward is gonna have a kill switch where um
They are already implementing it because I've come across, I don't know if we've talked about it before, but um the the newer vehicles, if it can't see your eyes or it thinks you're slouching, it'll literally slow down. And somebody was saying about how dangerous that was. Like if you're going into an on ramp and you're going into a major freeway or highway and you need to get to like 100 kilometers an hour or like 65 miles per
well
hour, you got to get speeding, and it doesn't think you're sitting up or whatever. It literally stops,
Well,
right?
there's another. This is I know they just changed this with legislation in the USA where we've got a truck. It's diesel. It has this DEF system, this emissions control system, which has been a standard for a while. But the challenge with it is the DEF system, the diesel exhaust fluid that you have to put into it. If it detects like if it's frozen, if that stuff's frozen or it's not working properly or whatever, it will tell you on the highway that it's going to reduce your speed, and that's a massive safety concern if it was just started to be defective. We've had it be defective out of in midair, and we've been stranded at a vehicle dealership while they fixed it. That has been now legislated out of place because it's a safety feature, like it's like
It's a
a
hazard,
dangerous feature.
exactly, because it's like, oh, you suddenly only have this far before it's gonna slow you down, and if you were, like, out somewhere where you're not near, like, because for whatever reason, like, the reality is it ours.
We lucked out. We were so close to a dealership.
Yes, and it
That
was
happened
and it
to
was
us.
related to the DEF not reading properly. It wasn't us that we didn't put enough in, but that just shows how that is such a risk, right? And how dangerous it is, right? So definitely I would say not an asshole, except for now it kind of is like
Oh,
now we need to take the due diligence to know what we're signing and just assume there's some kind of data and information and find it. And then ask them what it means because half of it, or bring your AI and literally scan the document and have that AI tell you what it's saying. Like we need to start doing
well,
that.
exactly. And like, yeah, they're not the asshole, but like realistically, if you're doing that much, like anybody who buys a new car does a ton of research. I would hope they're doing a ton of research, but maybe not in this situation. Like they don't know that Anyway, this is why we share these stories with you. So
Nobody, if people don't know how, even if you go search it, if no one's talking about it and people don't know this is happening until he has that extreme that is 22 miles over the speed limit. And so they're calling. So I'm assuming the increase was quite substantial. That's why they were calling him. They're like,
well,
dude, where it's going up, and it's because we caught you once. Like, there's no, on top of that, there's no recourse, right? Like, it's like you don't even get the one freebie now because you're literally being monitored. So if you have like that one time and you kind of, because you're like getting stuck between people and you have to kind of just speed up, that could come back to haunt you. So you're going to have to slam on your brakes to make sure you don't accidentally speed because it's going to be monitoring you. And it's again, just so awful. Dystopian, right? So the verdict overall, not the asshole. Your car was monitoring you without your knowledge or consent, but this person did consent, unfortunately, without necessarily knowing, right?
sign
The
those
system
documents fast.
the system was opt out, not opt in, which is deliberately designed to hide what's happening, which is true. And we should all be angry. You are betrayed by the technology you own, right? Just telling on you, spying on you. You're like, it's great that I took out this debt, because I assume most people do not pay in cash. If you did, great. But if you paid in cash or whether you have debt, isn't it awesome that you paid for it to go and tell on you to make everything else cost more money? Wonderful, right? Some of
Exactly.
the other comments, you should have read the fine print more carefully, right? That's what we're learning. This is
Hmm.
on you for not understanding, so that's coming back to us. We're all going to have to take responsibility on this. The other comments, the car manufacturer and insurance company share responsibility. They're using the system it is designed to hide data collection. If it was open and transparent, it would not be some setting you would have to go hunting for and know where it is. And it would
Exactly.
be obvious, right? The car manufacturer and insurance companies do share that. And we need to actively fight back and demand transparency and request your data, file complaints with regulators. I can say that. Staying silent lets us continue. That's why, like, we have to share this so we know, so we don't consent to it. So we go in. So if we're going to buy it, we're like, no, we want it turned off, because before I drive this off the lot, I want that feature removed. Show me how to do it. Send it back. Put the push back into the dealerships, because if they have to work extra, they're going to be annoyed. Because that's where you start, is pushing back as a consumer, right? Top comment. This is happening to millions of people right now. Your car is a surveillance device. Your insurance company knows everywhere you go, and most people don't have an idea. Okay, story number 2, real or fake, lock it in, decide, keep it in your mind. And any last comments, or right to story 3?
Roll on to story number 3.
Perfect. Story 3. Am I the asshole for being horrified that my Ring camera's AI called the police on me? I installed a Ring doorbell camera to protect my home. It ended up calling the police on me. I bought a Ring camera because I wanted security. I wanted to know who was at my front door when I wasn't home. I wanted footage if anything went wrong. It seemed like a simple, smart safety measure. When I installed it, I went through the setup process. Ring has a lot of AI features. The doorbell can recognize people, detect packages, flag suspicious activity. About 2 weeks after installation, I was in my backyard. I was doing yard work, and it was late afternoon. I was moving a ladder, carrying some tools, normal stuff, just me on my own property doing maintenance. Then I heard sirens, police cars pulling up to my house. Officers came to my door, confused but ready. I was terrified. I went to answer the door, and they told me, "We got a report of suspicious activity at this address." I was shocked. I explained I was just doing yard work. They looked confused. They said the report came from a Ring doorbell camera. The AI flagged your behavior as suspicious and automatically contacted us. My own camera called the police on me, on my own property, for doing normal yard work. I checked my Ring app after the police left. There was no notification that the camera had flagged activity. There was no alert asking if I wanted to report something. The AI system just decided my behavior was suspicious and automatically called the police without giving me any chance to prevent it. I called Ring support. They said the AI detected moving around with tools as potentially illegal activity. The system is designed to protect your property, but it's my property, and I wasn't doing anything wrong. The AI just interpreted normal yard behavior as something criminal. I tried to turn off the automatic reporting feature. Turns out it's not easy to find in the settings. Oh, look, again, right? Not easy to find in the settings. And even when I turned it off in one place, it was still on in another. The system seems designed to keep itself running without users realizing. The police officers were kind and understanding. They left once realizing nothing was wrong, but I am traumatized. My own security system called the police on me. What if I'd been in a bad mood? What if the police had been less understanding? What if I reacted in a way that escalated things? So am I the asshole for being horrified that my security camera's AI made a decision about my behavior without my input and automatically contacted law enforcement for feeling the one system that was supposed to protect me?
You know what? I've installed a lot of security cameras for a lot of clients, and it's one of those things where they say they want the alerts on and the AI detection on, and when they realize how annoying that stuff is, they turn all the notifications off. But I bet it's still reporting that stuff in the background.
Oh, probably. It may not report to the police, but it's still reporting it, right?
I'm just trying to remember, because I know I had a senior client. This is like 3 years ago, and it was kind of this. The Amazon stuff is truly creepy, because if you've got all those like Amazon Echo like touchscreen devices in your house, your doorbell, like the video pops up and you're having like a two-way conversation. But we just found that like the wind or like a bird, like there'd be like 100 notifications. Like it would. Some things worked well, and the other things were just like annoying. So anyway,
a bird, some wind, a bug, and
like literally, if there was a shift in the light across a camera sensor, it triggered like a warning, activity detected. And I'm like, don't you really just want the activity detected if somebody's at your door, like a physical human's at your door? Like you don't care if like whatever's happening with the weather, but AI detection, there's, it's easy to.
Well, I would say at least it detected this person was actually in their yard, I guess, but it doesn't know the activity, right? Like,
But then
and
that's the thing. Like there's usually so many settings. It would be like saying something wrong, and then the Amazon system would be Alexa, and then Alexa, if you were plugged into all this stuff, you don't actually know the consequences of any type of alert going off, especially, so you say the wrong thing and Alexa's ordered stuff for you just because you're using all this interconnected stuff, like the Ring doorbell.
Exactly. And you know what, as we've been talking about, and as we can see, technology and AI technology specifically always works so well. Right? So what do you say what's your verdict? Are they the asshole or not? I think they are the asshole, because legitimately you put in an AI system, you probably could get something way cheaper, just a basic camera, and do the same monitoring and not have this problem.
Well, this is the challenge, is because people are like, hey, look, pretty features, and then install a system not actually knowing all of the features, right? Because old-fashioned ways, you just had cameras recording to a box, and then you're like, oh, something happened, now I'm gonna go and watch through the footage. The old way is you record it, you go watch the footage. The new way is like, hey, you're in your yard with a ladder, that's criminal activity, we're gonna call 911 on you right now.
Oh, somebody shows up at the house to go and mow their lawn. The police come, because that's a dangerous that lawnmower. Oh dear. Well, the verdict was people overall were nicer. They said you're not the asshole. Your security system called the police on you for normal behavior on your own property without your knowledge or consent. You didn't authorize automatic police reporting. You're rightfully horrified. There was some agreeing with the, soft, you are the asshole, right? You should have read the setup settings carefully, right? If you're going to take it, you got to know it. These features are explained during installation. You just weren't paying attention, or, because it's extra steps,
They
right?
were clicking next. I agree. Next.
Exactly. You don't even know what you agreed to, right? There is some comments. So Ring designed their system with automatic reporting turned on by default, hidden in settings, and unclear how to actually disabled it. That's intentional, and you should be demanding that you change this. The automatic reporting feature should require explicit opt-in or opt-out. One of the top comments was a security camera that calls the police on the homeowner is not a security feature; it's a liability. This technology isn't ready for consumer use if it can't tell the difference between a burglar or someone doing yard work. And in fairness, when we're looking at the flock camera, it can, and then who's interpreting it, right?
Well, that's really what it comes down. Really, what it comes down to, and when they're using automatic detection, it's like there's so much bad implementations of everything out there, especially with security cameras. You don't know who's got access to it. You don't know where it's reporting to, your insurance company, the police. Is it actually just reporting, or are those things taking clips and uploading those clips somewhere, right? Because I think that's been a problem with other security camera systems in the last couple of years. Is they're like, hey, you just pay this monthly feature and we'll call 911 for you if we detect something. Well, what does you detect something mean? Do they have a call center where the automatic clips are sent, and human, is it a human looking at, there's a huge amount
assumption there's no human. My assumption there's no human.
In the past it has been humans, because humans are before AI, humans would other technology that's recorded on people privately, like Vizio TVs and stuff like that. Vizio is sending the microphone recordings to a human call center who is then transcribing. That was years ago, before the AI stuff. So I'm saying, who knows? Could be both.
Okay, well, and depending on what technology you're using is which one's the main one. Is it a human or AI, right?
Yep.
So there we go. That's the third story. Real or fake? Lock it in. Why don't you summarize those for us, Mike?
Okay, so 3 stories. Reminder, 1 is completely made up. Story 1. I was falsely accused of package theft based on a license plate reader camera I never knew was filming me. Story 2. My car was secretly tracking my speeding and reported it to my insurance company without my knowledge. And story 3. My Ring's camera AI called the police on me for doing yard work on my own property. I just laugh. Oh, it was brutal. Lock it in. If you're new, subtle reminder, subscribe now. Turn on that, hit that notifications bell. We do this every Monday, and we want you to join us and leave and participate in the chat. Leave the comments.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know what your guess is. If you're watching this after the fact or while it's live, put it in the chat or put it in the comments, and we'll see if you guessed it right. So are you ready? Give me a little drum roll, Mike, and we will do the reveal. And the lie was... Oh, wait, I forgot to ask you which one you thought it was.
You're screwing up. Okay. I think the lie is number 3. Because
that is the lie.
No, I'm thinking about it because they was carrying the ladder around, so the camera thought they were breaking and entering, right? It's got to be the reason. Anyway, it's a lie. What's the actual reveal, Julie?
It's in front of you. You didn't see it?
No, I'm not looking. I'm not looking at.
Well, that's good. So I pre-showed it, and I'm glad you weren't looking at the screen because
I wasn't. I'm reading the show notes. I had to move that window out of the way.
Perfect. And you were correct. You summarized that correctly. The lie was story number 3. And this is how you know we're not AI, because that was not
No, I'm
perfect.
literally looking at the show notes to figure out who talks at what point, right? No, I was like, really, I think that would be the only way it's possible, but all of these stories tonight are all about recording you and notifications without your knowledge.
Exactly. So, really, they're all very plausible for sure. Well, we know the 2 are real, and this one is definitely plausible, right? Because Ring cameras do have AI features we were talked about, right? Ring does have suspicious activity detection. The technology to identify movement and flag behavior does exist. However, the Ring does not yet integrate with law enforcement, right? Just a matter of time, I'm sure. So the infrastructure for the story absolutely does exist. Doesn't, not quite completely yet. But the specific scenario where an AI automatically calls police without your user notification, without an alert, without giving a homeowner a chance to prevent it, has not been documented as a real case yet. Technology is close. Ring systems could theoretically do this, but we haven't found a case of it doing plausible. It is possible, but it is fictional.
Well,
So, sorry, go ahead.
in this situation, it would be the difference between a fully monitored security system and a non, because most traditionally you would have like ADT or security.com or somebody. In order for the authorities to be called, the monitoring company would have done that on your behalf. However, people are now installing their own systems that they buy from Amazon or Home Depot or Lowe's or Walmart or whatever, and those aren't yet, probably soon. I know they got AI features. As I said, I've installed these systems for like senior citizens and bars and restaurants and stuff like this, and they're close, but you still have to, like, there's no monitoring system, so nobody's going to call the authorities yet.
Exactly.
Yes, like
And
soon.
well, the scariest part of that story is that it's not far from being real, right? And Ring is constantly updating their AI. Police partnerships with camera companies are expanding with the flock, as we know, right? And all it takes is one firmware update, one change default setting, and suddenly people's doorbells are calling cops without their knowledge. Like it can happen that quickly, right?
So,
So it's not science fiction. It could happen. It definitely could in the future, right?
so in this situation, the difference between one where the cameras reported that theft, and three, the home, is that in number one, those cameras were monitored by law enforcement, and the house one not being monitored by law
Not
enforcement.
exactly, right? So we're literally right there because they're already monitoring camera systems.
It just
And we
depends if
know
anybody makes that phone call.
Well, and we do know that they were promoting, like, and we talked about this last week at the Super Bowl about all the home cameras being able to find your
Find
missing
that
pet,
dog.
which means
Yeah.
the pet, right? Which means something has to watch all of them to combine that information. So we're literally, this is probably one of the stories that is almost real, right?
Now every time I see a green Rivian, I'm gonna think they're thefts.
Well,
Criminals.
story one is completely real. Her name was Chrisanna Elser, falsely accused of package theft by flock license plate reader cameras. She had to gather her own evidence to prove herself innocent, and the sergeant did face disciplinary actions. It's documented, it's real, and that is actually happening in other cities. Story two, also completely real. So you have that modern vehicles come equipped with the telematics system that tracks speeding, and it does share the data with the insurance companies. People don't know this is happening. So the system is opt out, not opt in, which means it's on by default, and insurance companies are using this data to raise rates. That is documented. This is actually happening. And then it also makes me think that if this is happening, and even if you're like, oh, you're too expensive, I'm going to shop around, all the insurance companies will be able to collect that data. If they're paying for access to cars data, they're just going to cross-reference your name to the back end and see how you're driving. So you're really not even going to be able to shop around. Like, I wonder if that's going to disappear, is you won't even be able to shop around because it's going to literally just be there's only one rate. So literally there's no competition anymore, right? Because they're all spying on you.
100%. 100%. All right. Tonight wasn't really about cameras. or cars or artificial intelligence. It was about something much bigger. Every story tonight involved technology people willingly brought into their lives. That security camera, that vehicle, that's the promise people the technology to start making decisions about them. That's what makes these stories unsettling. Not because the technology exists, but because most people don't actually know what it's doing or what's going on.
And it's currently going on, right? And that's becoming one of our biggest challenges of our time. Technology keeps getting smarter, artificial intelligence keeps getting more capable. Whether it's smart or not is a whole other thing. But the systems around us are becoming more connected every year. The question isn't whether it's good or bad. The question is, do we actually understand the systems we're trusting? Because awareness changes everything. When you understand how something works, you make different decisions, you ask different questions, and you notice different patterns. And that's exactly why we've created the strategic timing and visibility system.
Yes, everything begins with our free gold membership. Gold isn't about giving you more information, there's already too much information. Gold is about helping you recognize the patterns that actually matter to you. Every month, we share a strategic timing guide, important astrology and numerology dates, updates from all 4 of our weekly live shows, and the trends we're watching across technology, AI, business, world events, and the collective. Our goal is simple: to help you become harder to surprise, harder to manipulate, and harder to mislead. Because when you understand what's changing, you make better decisions.
Exactly. And once you begin recognizing those patterns, something interesting happens. As you start asking those different questions, how do I use these technologies intentionally instead of letting them control me, right? Because technology itself isn't the enemy. It can help us learn, build business, and reach people, create opportunities, but only when we're using it consciously, not accidentally.
And that's exactly why we created Visibility University. Every Saturday morning, we teach people how to use YouTube, AI, automation, and modern technology intentionally. Chase fame to go viral, but to make it easier for the right people to discover the work that you're already doing. Whether you've written a book, got a lot of authors out there, started a business, tons of business owners, or you're teaching something valuable, or have a message you believe people need to hear. Visibility isn't about becoming famous, it's about becoming discoverable. And just like tonight's stories, the people who understand the systems almost always get better results than the people who just don't.
Everything we teach comes back to 4 simple ideas: understand the timing, recognize the patterns, develop discernment, and then take action. Because information alone is not going to change your life. The decisions you make because of that information does. So if you'd like to continue learning with us, we've got, like we mentioned, the gold membership with breathewithinyoga.com button. Join the gold membership, get started, get into our communication funnel there. And if you're ready to get more help being discovered with your work and your message, go to the IamYouTubeFamous.com.
And just to remind you, quick reminder about our show schedule. Everything we do I'm not AI. Everything we do each week builds on the last. It's very important. I'm not AI. It's one journey shared across I can't count right. 4 live shows. Sundays, 7:11 p.m. Eastern, we bring you the weekly energy overview. Julianne looks at the week ahead through astrology, numerology, and collective timing so you can understand the conditions before you make important decisions. Mondays, of course, this show, 7 p.m. Eastern, 2 real, 2 truths, 1 lie. We examine technology, AI, automation, and the systems quietly shaping our lives, not to tell you what to think, but to help you think more clearly. And Thursdays, 7 p.m. Eastern, honestly, though, that's where we zoom out. We connect the stories. We follow those patterns out there, exploring the bigger picture, and ask what those patterns mean for all of us. And Saturdays, 9 a.m. Eastern, the show that started it all, Visibility University. Learn practical strategies to build your message, your business, your YouTube channel, and your visibility using today's tools without getting lost in the noise. One improvement, one system, one step at a time.
Every week follows the same path: understanding the timing, recognizing the pattern, developing discernment, and taking action. Because the world isn't slowing down, technology is not slowing down, artificial intelligence isn't slowing down, and people who thrive won't necessarily be the ones with the most information. They'll be the people who learn to recognize what's happening before everyone else does. So we'd love to have you join us. Make sure with our free membership, breathewithinyoga.com, click the join the gold membership. And when you're ready to make your own work easier, to be discovered, visit IamYouTubeFamous.com. And with that, we will see you next time. We will see you next Monday, same time, same place, 7 p.m. Eastern for Too Real. But we will see you live on Thursday for Honestly Though. We will see you at 7 p.m. Have a great evening.